The NBA Finals are heading back to Boston all tied up at 1 apiece. We got some interesting topics of conversation evolving pretty much around how you felt about music in the early 90s, and maybe did you ever have an apartment where it was $500 a month? We'll discuss that and more. This is the We Don't Know Sports Podcast. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the We Don't Know Sports Podcast. It's Chad the Mark with
Turbo Tommy
and
Mr. Brown
and
Canadian Biggie.
And welcome back, everybody. It's nice. We got a little humidity out here. The man cave's open, and we're watching Mr. Brown's Atlanta Braves here play against the Oakland Athletics. And Tommy, what is the mascot for the A's?
Charlie O.
The hell's Charlie O?
What kind of animal?
How about an elephant?
A pachyderm, if you will. I feel like it's 1930. When's the last time someone said pachyderm?
Probably you're the first person that's ever said it.
Ever in history.
Today's year old when I heard that word.
Exactly.
Come on, I know Bugs Bunny said it back in the day.
I feel like right now this is just Ronald Acuna and his band of cohorts because he's the only guy who's done anything.
He's got 2 jacks, so he's doing all right.
But typical Braves fashion, they're all solo shots. That's what we do.
Hey, they still count, just not as much.
Yeah.
All right. So the one thing I wanted to kind of just dip my toe in the water here a little bit, and Mr. Brown, I think you missed the game 2 here, but I did get to watch the end of game 1 of the NBA Finals. And, I love the matchup with the Celtics and Warriors. And we talked about how we feel like it's going to be a competitive series, even if we think it only goes 6. I think you said it was going to go 7, right?
I wanted to go 7.
Wanted to go 7.
So if it went 6, that's probably the most logical answer. But I'm trying to believe.
If you wanted to go 7, you needed Boston to split out in San Francisco, and that's exactly what they did.
Needed to do.
Yep. So the game 1. I'm watching it. Golden State's pretty much got it in hand. Like they got this game. Fourth quarter starts. So I think the Warriors outscored them by like 14 in the third quarter or something like that.
They were down 2 at halftime. They came out, did what they always do in the third quarter.
Yep.
They blew. They were up, outscored them by 14, 16, whatever it was. They were up 12 going to the fourth.
Yeah, they're up double digits, and I've learned in today's NBA, double-digit lead don't mean shit. And the freaking Celtics. Holy crap, man. What in the world? They had the secret stuff in the water bottles, man. They were making everything. And what did they make, like 18 threes in the fourth? I don't know what it was.
They were 21 of 41 for the game. In the fourth quarter, they were like something like 14 of 17 from the field. Their first 7 shots, 3-point range, all went in. Al Horford hit 6 in the game.
Al Horford.
6
Hell,
9.
Tommy, how many did you hit?
2.
I mean, see, everybody was dropping them.
Peyton Pritchard, he had a big game. Who else was hitting him?
Did Grant Williams get involved?
He had a couple. Marcus Smart had a few. It was just kind of crazy. Al Horford had like one of those games where he had against Milwaukee where it was a kind of a turn back the clock. He just looked 10
he
years
turned back
younger.
the clock 10 years. The thing that threw me like through a loop was the fact that we're watching the first half, and we all know that when a screen comes, that Curry's going to drop back and shoot. And I kept wondering why the Celtics bigs were not like pulling up on the screen and trying to create like lessen the space. He just kept draining threes. He had 21 points in the first quarter.
6 threes.
But he only had like 23, I think, by the halftime.
He only scored 2 buckets in the second quarter. I think he finished the game with 34.
But he's going to do that. So it's like, why is the big man not rolling out past that screen to cut off the space? And the fact that the Celtics were struggling so bad with that early on, and then it came back and won the game, it's pretty amazing.
The other thing there that I kind of didn't like is I know it's his time to sit there at the end of the first, but he was so hot. Just let him ride that hot streak.
You don't want to take him out, But at the same time, in the second half, in the fourth quarter, whenever the Warriors needed a bucket, Curry was getting them buckets going to the paint.
Yep.
Like it wasn't taking the threes. It was they would go out on him, and then he would just kind of blow by him and hit those little teardrops. But it didn't matter. The Celtics came out, and they did it without Tatum really being their guy. It was more like Jaylen Brown stepped up big in the fourth quarter there.
He did. He was their closer. Tatum, I think, only had 12 points, but he had 13 assists.
Yeah, I mean, it was what they needed to do, like Mr. Brown said. They got the job done. They won that one, but they didn't win game 2.
Yep.
Warriors bounced back like they needed to. We missed that game. So you watched some of it, Biggie?
I watched most of it. I fell asleep in the fourth quarter, but they were up about 30 points by the time I fell asleep, 25-30. Into the first half, Warriors went on a nice little run. Jordan Poole played really well in this game.
And in game 1, Jordan Poole looked like he didn't even belong.
Yeah, that was kind of the big.
You know why he went off, right? Did you hear why he went off?
No.
Something about a pickup line he learned from Steph Curry.
There was some hot lady in the front row, and as soon as he spotted her, he started making all these shots, and he kept looking over at her and doing his thing, and that fired him up. So she's probably an Instagram model, ready to pounce and ruin his life.
Hey, Sean McVay just
Buyer beware.
All right, so Jordan Poole, he got his mojo back, and then the rest is history here. But what's the deal with Draymond? There was some static there about some technicals that weren't called or should have been.
He already had one technical on him, and he should have had really a second one on him where he fouled Jaylen Brown on 3, and as they were down on the ground, went to go back up. He was kind of holding them, and then he grabbed his draws and tried to pull him down.
What?
And then kind of benches didn't clear, but the players all met right
Whose
there.
draws did he grab?
Jaylen Brown.
All right, Tommy, what would happen back in the day if you tried to pull down another man's draws on the court?
That's a bitch slap right there. It had been full on.
Kermit Washington, Rudy Tomjanovich type.
It'd have been a bitch slap or a Ric Flair low blow.
Woo! 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! So he didn't get ejected. No technical.
No, he did. They did a review. They ended
3.
up calling it on him. The thing that people are flipping out about is that they had Steve Javy, how they always have the official as part of the broadcast crew now. And they asked him, so do you factor in that he already has one technical when you're making this call? And Javy said, of course you do. As a good official, you don't want the game to change on one play. And people are killing him. And the fact that T didn't call, because how is it a technical if it was his first, but not if it's its second?
That should be irrelevant. The rules are the rules.
Yes.
So not in the playoffs. You can make your own rules.
They're letting them really play handsy, which favors Boston, and I like watching it because they're still up and down.
The game's tighter.
Yeah, but they're a little physicality don't hurt.
Well, let's go back to Draymond. So the fact is, there's not a lot of players in today's game like Draymond. So are you buying or selling that he's the modern day Dennis Rodman?
I'm
selling.
I'm buying.
He is the most overrated mother effer.
I used to say that too, but then I've always looked at how good Golden State is when he's on the court versus when he's gone. They're a completely different team.
Now, here's the thing for me, before you jump in, Biggie. So Rodman actually participated in the box score, whereas Draymond, he might get like 6, 6, and 6, whereas Rodman might get like 26 and no points.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't score. He
I'm
didn't
not
shoot,
saying
but
he's
he
as good as
impacted.
Rodman, but I'm saying if you want to talk about modern day, like he is the X factor. He does a little bit of everything, and you got these church choir looking, shoot the ball from downtown, way away from the rim, guards. And there's Draymond that is the polar opposite that's doing everything he can to mix it up. He carries the badge of honor for that team.
I agree with you. When I said 6, 6, and 6, he could absolutely have that stat line, and he has completely changed the dynamic of his game, of the whole game, based on his demeanor and how he's acting. Is he in the guys' heads?
Right.
Because people are soft, man. And, he could completely throw them off their game without even affecting the box score.
Rodman never cared about his stats.
Correct.
He didn't even care about the rebounds. They just happened. Draymond's a lot of the same thing. He don't care what his stat line is. And there's a game Draymond could get you 20.
Just motor, man. He's motor.
Right. And in this series, if Draymond gets you 20 in any game, they're winning that game.
Oh, by 20.
Because they expect to win with him getting 6, 6, and 6. And that's what it is. It's the mark of the beast, baby. He's taking you straight to hell. It's Draymond Green.
Here's what I'll say for Draymond Green. If there couldn't have been a better spot for him to get drafted, you always talk about where a quarterback goes, how their career plays out. Draymond Green will probably go to the Hall of Fame as an overrated defender, part of a great, however many championships they win. He wouldn't be an all-star in any other team in the league. He just fits perfect with what he's doing.
I'm not disagreeing with any of that.
Okay.
And he will be overrated. He will. He will be an overrated Hall of Famer.
He does fit perfectly with what he does, and like you guys were saying, 6, 6, and 6, he'll have a big impact on
He'll
the
be
game.
overrated to everyone except for Warriors fans. Warriors fans will always
All
think.
right, so I'm going to give you 3 names, Biggie. I want you to rank them. Rick Mahorn, Xavier McDaniel, and Draymond Green.
So give me the X-Man, then give me Draymond, then give me Rick Mahorn.
Ah, come on. X-Man.
I thought those were. Oh, let me add another one, okay?
Kurt Rambis.
Anthony Mason.
Well, now, Anthony Mason loved to live the high life, so we might have to put him up top because if I don't, he'll come from his grave and kill me.
Yes. I love Anthony Mason.
I'm just trying to compare him to like a bad-nosed, just a bad boy from like the 90s, 80s that was all there as like an enforcer type. And that's kind of what Draymond is today's enforcer.
Bill Lambier.
Well, that's obvious. Bill Lambier is clearly ahead of that. All those guys, in my opinion. I mean, to me,
he was more of a tone setter than
Right.
any of them. But it's kind of like what you said a second ago, Biggie. Draymond just fits with this team.
then
the
again,
right way.
though, sorry to go back to that, but like the Pistons had Dumars, Isaiah, and Bill. It's not like Bill was their main guy.
He wasn't an outlier,
Right.
You know,
so,
he
I
was
mean,
just part of the
he's
group.
got a similar role as Draymond does with the current day Warriors.
And Rodman, too.
It's not
He
a
was-
bad comparison. I just feel like Bill Lambier is head and shoulders above Draymond Green.
Draymond Green does everything for the Warriors, just like Rodman did for the Bulls.
Yeah,
like
Draymond-
it's the same role.
I'll give you credit. You're right. He fits perfectly. He's the glue for that team as far as emotionally, and he brings the fire. And what they said when they were talking to a couple guys from Celtics after the game and then media personalities, Draymond will do whatever it takes to win. If he feels like he needs to play a little dirty to get something started, he'll do it. He don't care what you think of him. And like you said, those church choir boys aren't going to ever do that. You got to have that guy on a team if you're going to be top tier with a couple of choir boys at guard.
And
He's that straw that stirs the drink on that Bloody Mary on Sunday morning.
that's right. Whether you put celery in it or not, we're doing it. So, speaking of Detroit and bad boys and things like that, Mr.
good
Mr.
segue.
Brown, what are we doing? What are we doing Friday?
We're leaving bright and early on Friday morning. We're heading to Detroit, Rock City.
Everybody got to leave your
We're going to see the Tigers against the Blue Jays at Comerica Park for the first time.
Got to
And
lose your mind to Detroit.
we just found out from a Detroit insider that we have associated
right.
with the group and the page that we've got to go to Hockey Town. It's a bar and restaurant there.
Was it Hockeytown, USA? Is that what it's called?
Something like that. We're going to check it out. It's Detroit Red Wings stuff, but it also has the ice bar in a circular motion, and it has the, what's it called, Zamboni?
Yeah, we should stop at a grocery store and get like a little tiny like squid or calamari and just throw it out there.
And they would be like, rock on,
They'd
free
be like,
drinks. on the
this
house."
guy gets it.
Yeah.
So no frost rail. They just have a literal ice rink. That's awesome.
Awesome.
I might break the vow of soberism.
Oh,
for that.
Chad, I'll buy your first drink, brother.
Oh, that might happen. It might be because that experience could be too good to pass up.
Exactly.
But we got that. We got walleye fishing on Lake Erie.
But
And
we get back to Port Clinton, which is about 45, 50 minutes southeast, right,
that's it.
of Detroit. And we'll be out there walleye fishing, and we will limit out. I'm sure of it. Freezers are full. Fish fries in the near future.
Hell yes. All right, so we are talking about taking this long-ass drive. Not really that long, but I got up today, and I don't know where everybody listening lives, but in West by God, Virginia, gas is $4.99 because they know if they take it to $5, everyone just loses their mind.
Well, here's the thing, though. You missed this today. So the average price in West Virginia has now jumped over $5 for the first time in the history of West Virginia today.
All right.
Years we've been a state.
Yeah.
Since 1863.
First time in the history, the average price went over $5 today.
So we were, wishing of things of past where life was just more simpler and a hell of a lot cheaper. And, we got a lot of interaction with the We Don't Know Sports Nation out there. And what was the question we posed?
So you can only bring back one. All right. So A is a $500 a month 2-bedroom apartment.
All right.
B, which 79-cent unleaded gas. C, $1,000 used cars. And D, $4.99 buffets.
All right. So why does this feel like it's an eternity ago for all this stuff? Before we get into it, Mr. Brown, did you ever rent?
I went straight to the house owning.
What was the first amount of rent you ever paid? Biggie?
$385, 2-bedroom apartment.
I was $450, 2-bedroom apartment. Tommy, you're a little older. How about you?
Man, why you stick me like this? I think it was like $275. It was 3 bedrooms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I split
Shag
that with
carpet.
2 other guys. So, yeah.
Was this during Prohibition?
There was a speakeasy around back. Yeah, see? I don't like your tone. That's fantastic. We love you, Tommy. So I 450 was mine, 500, so that's about right. So we're talking about 20 years ago as far as that goes. The gas, and then what was it? The buffet, was that
$4.99 buffet?
Isn't it like CC's Pizza still $4.99?
That's what I was say. I think that's the only thing I know of that's even close to that price.
Hey, they just reopened the Golden Corral.
Yeah, I was
How
going to
much
say
is
Golden
that?
Corral just opening up recently, just here again since COVID. But they're like, I don't know how people afford it because it's like, there's no way. It opened up back at $7.99.
$7.99.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. But what I remember is like $15 a person at least. So you're saying a family of four is going to eat a breakfast buffet or whatever for $60 without a tip.
You know
now
what?
it's $18 per person. So how are these West Virginians eating at the Hog Trough?
It's $12 a person.
I
went
ate
out
at
there last
Shoney's.
Friday because I felt like eating 12 steaks for $12. It's $11.99 for the dinner. The breakfast is like $8.69 or something.
I ate at Shoney's.
Drinks extra. I always drink water to stay hydrated. The drink's probably $4.
Yeah.
So with the drink, Tommy might be right about saying because
Yes.
they charge a lot for sodas nowadays.
But I was at Shoney's buffet in Flatwoods, West Virginia this weekend. Me and my little nephew went. And I got the senior discount. Woohoo! At $7.99. He ate the child's buffet for $5.99.
Yeah.
That's the cheapest you're going to find it anywhere.
His grandson's 16 years old, but he tells them, say they're 12, so that way I get the cheaper rate.
You're 12 to me, damn it.
That's like the worst thing as a parent, right? Like you got your kids, they're like 11 or 12, and you know, you got to be 10, right? And you're there, and it's like, how old? And you tell them, and they're like, that is not my age. You're like, shut up, you little shit.
had
for your own now.
I had that same story happen at Amish country. We were at a buffet in Amish country, and I think it was Landon. He's like, I'm not lying about my age. I'm too old for this. And I'm like, you little beep.
No Xbox for you.
Yeah, exactly.
The cost of living's high and going up.
You just dated yourself there. The Xbox soon a thing of the past.
Whatever.
So
I don't
do you want me to chime in on some of the comments, and then we can add in?
Yeah,
what we
so
think?
we haven't given our answers yet. So let's just let's see if this can be something that sways our opinion.
So Pete King on the page says, gas. A is definitely the hood. C is going to cost thousands more to keep on the road. So he's saying A, the apartments is the hood. C is going to be hard to keep on the road. It's a used car. And he says D is a slow death, talking about the hog trough.
Because that's what it is. The trough. You're not going there to watch your figure.
No. You're going there, and even if you're not a big eater, when anytime you go to a buffet, you're like, got to get my money's worth.
I'll tell you what, though. If I had a buffet, if I was running a business like that, I would have a giant set of scales outside that you could weigh yourself before you came in and then after you left. And, you know, honestly, if you had, like, gained 20 pounds, I'd give you, like, half your money back.
I just go because I eat steak after steak after steak.
So the majority of these obviously said gas because that's the easy answer, what we're feeling the most now.
Right.
Roberta Martinez said A. Did I say A? A million times A. Then I could move back to my hometown, Los Angeles.
So I was going to say, that's depending on where you live. We're in West Virginia where real estate is not expensive, but if you lived in New York City, in San Francisco, someplace like that, you probably are going to take the free or the cheap rent.
Right.
Yeah.
Joshua Hawkins says, where do you find 2-bedroom apartments for $500 and when?
We just told you when. The year was 2002.
See, if you could find $500 apartments right now, more people would rent, and they'd have more money to travel and do whatever they wanted to. Single person or even a married couple, why not just find something cheap to rent?
Stimulate the economy.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying. Any other good comments in there?
I'm still scrolling. So while I'm scrolling, if you want to elaborate on what yours would be.
Let's say we all would say gas, right? Is that fair enough?
For me, I think this is product of the upbringing. Like he was just saying, where are these cheap apartments? I can move to L.A. For me, it's gas because I grew up traveling. I don't care about any of the other. Give me cheap gas so I can drive and see the country.
Tommy, you the same way?
No, not really. I mean, 'cause I was a renter forever, and you're going to save more money with $500 because a rent now would be like $1,200. You're going to save $700 a month now. So that's where I'm going with. I would rather bring back the $500 tube.
See, I was going to play devil's advocate. I thought we were all going to take gas. So I was trying to say, what would you take in lieu of that? Because to me, like the economics engine of it, like if gas is less, then everything else is less. Like it's a supply and demand thing. I love watching old movies like Smokey and the Bandit, just look and see how much gas cost back then. And that's where we're at with this 79 cents bullshit. We're all 40 at least. I don't know if you ever remember putting 79-cent gas in your car, because I sure don't.
I remember 89-cent and 99-cent gas.
But that was out of state.
90s.
That wouldn't have been here. That was
the Pilot at Nitro had 99-cent gas.
Oh, really?
Somewhere between junior and senior year in 1999.
Dude, I remember when everybody lost their mind because they had to go get like number 2s to put up there because we went past $1.
Yeah.
And they're like, 209. Oh, my God.
What's going on?
It's the oil crisis.
So our fellow, he's a top contributor to all of our groups and the page, Charles Rorex.
Rorex. Rorex.
Correct. He said buffet, straight up buffet, and that's all he said. So we got to meet up with old Charles, and we're all going to head on down to the Golden Corral, and we're going to buy his lunch.
I guarantee you he lives in the Southeast.
Think so?
Yeah, he's got to live in like Mississippi or Alabama or something.
We're going to have to look that up.
I bet they got some good old gumbo buffets down there.
He's not bad, though. A family of 5, you can eat for $30.
Absolutely.
I
There you
guess.
go.
Or we could just eat at the house because we actually have a cheap apartment with a nice kitchen in it that we can, cook.
So it's not an efficiency apartment with a drop-down bed that comes out of the wall.
No, Murphy beds?
Real apartments for $500.
No Murphy beds. This is 2-bedroom, remember? We're doing good.
So what was the one that we haven't hit on yet or none of the comments? I feel like we hit the 3.
Used car. So I'm
Yeah.
actually Thursday. My son doesn't know this, but I'm driving over to Dayton, Ohio to pick up a 1989 Buick Riado.
That's the one with the really big trunk, right?
No.
They had the bodies.
You've probably never seen one of these before. They only made like 25,000 of them. They're not that popular.
When I hear Buick, I think big trunk.
Right. It's a weird Buick. I don't know. It's hard to explain. So looking forward to go picking up that gem. The guy I'm buying it from hopefully doesn't listen to the show because you can buy them all day long for like $15,000. And this one, he just needs some money. So I'm going to take advantage of this sap.
You do you.
I will. And I'll smile all the way driving home unless it blows up, and then you guys can all laugh at me.
So
I was
I'm
going to
a
say,
Tom.
man, you ain't got to help him out. You're helping your son out.
That's it. He's working at Arby's, man. He needs the money. Or needs a car. He's got the money now. He's got the meats, actually.
Damn, he's going to have to get a second job just to pay to get to the first one.
one of my supervisors, when we go out to dinner, that's his pickup line. It deals with Arby's. So we're sitting there eating, we're having drinks, we're having food. And he'll casually look at the waitress and dead serious, and he'll be like, I'm like Arby's. I've got the meat.
Is this JD?
It is.
Okay.
I knew that's what it was. Yeah.
I can hear it in my head.
And I'm like,
I don't even work with you.
And what's sad about it is about 50% of these girls eat it up.
I mean, it's all about the delivery.
It's so pathetic. I'm like, really? Can I just get my Greek quesadilla?
Hey, that's all right. Remember the last
Let's
time?
call it a night.
A couple years ago when we went to, Lake Erie, there was a lot of people that were just impressed with us because we owned a vehicle.
Yeah.
So things happen sometimes.
He owned the GMC, brand new GMC full-size truck, and they're like, is this really yours?
Blew their minds.
You're like, yeah.
Our buddy had a pick of the litter that night.
We paid it in cash.
As we derail this conversation, let's jump over to something else that kind of went viral. We're going back in time because the present and the future look so dire. We just like to live in the past. What was the magic year for music? We had this wonderful window of when things were released. And I think we had some fact checkers said it wasn't necessarily within like 14 weeks, but it was
Instead of being 44 days, it was
within
57
6 months.
days or
It
something.
was within 6 months.
All right,
so-
regardless, we had within all in 1991, we had Metallica, Pearl Jam, Two Guns N' Roses, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Soundgarden, and Nirvana all released albums in the same year.
So that was the Black Album, Use Your Illusion, Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic, 10. What was Soundgarden's?
Bad Motorfinger.
That's right.
Okay.
Am I missing any?
Nirvana, Nevermind.
Nevermind. So
Did you get Nirvana or Pearl Jam?
Pearl Jam was 10.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
What was the two Guns N' Roses?
Use Your Illusion 1 and 2.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
All right, that's
All right.
it.
So
Those were all within 2 months of each other.
right. So that was a great time to be buying cassettes because CDs weren't that popular yet. So out of those, what's your favorite and which one could disappear forever?
Oh, I don't know. Picking a favorite out of those is super tough. Now, I'm a diehard Metallica fan. That Black album was amazing. It's
But some Metallica fans will tell you, no, that's when Metallica died.
I was just going to say, it's also the last album, and it was the Black Album. The next album they don't have long hair anymore. They, died with that album. They kind of, like you said, changed. To me, the most, if we listen to music now, or if we're singing along, we're listening to 90s earlier, what do we hear? Nirvana. All the time. That entire album is as popular today as it was back then.
So for me, I get what you're saying about Metallica, but I still appreciated this album.
Absolutely.
So I love the Black Album. I can't pick between Metallica and the Red Hot Chili Peppers for me.
So, and a lot of people on the page were kind of shitting on Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I
They're
love
wrong.
And there's people, I guess maybe Red Hot Chili Peppers is kind of like Nickelback. Maybe people listen to it, but they just don't want to admit it.
I think for me, it's easier to pick the one that I could do without because both those GNR tracks, Metallica, Nirvana.
I can lose both of the GNR tracks because after Appetite for Destruction, it wasn't quite the
kinda went
same.
down.
Appetite for Destruction.
Can I say
is
this
GNR.
openly? I'm not a big Guns N' Roses fan, period. I'm just not.
And they're not for everybody.
Compared to all these other ones, I would eliminate that one first.
They're the most 80s sounding of all this. They're the only one that kind of survived the 80s. Now, Tommy, you're a little older, so we were coming of age when these came out. What about you? Is there anything that stands out? Any of these bands you really like? I'm just curious.
Well, here, I have a special place in my heart for Metallica.
All right, I went
to a live concert, and Metallica was the opening act.
Where was the concert at?
It was in Charleston,
Okay.
Charleston, West Virginia, and nobody had ever heard. All we knew was speed metal. We never heard of this band. They came out on the stage and absolutely freaking crushed it.
Yeah.
I mean, from that point on, I was a Metallica fan. That might not have been their greatest album at that time, but it's still, I have a special place in my heart for them.
What year was that? Approximately, if you had to guess.
I think it was 87 or 88.
Okay, so you're like Injustice for All, Kill 'Em All. Like that's
Master of Puppets.
right. Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
I mean, and
All
so
good stuff,
so
yeah.
that stuff that you fell in love with is why people didn't like the Black Album. Because it was different. It was more mainstream. You could hear it on radio. Nobody was playing the stuff that melted your freaking face at the
All
time.
of a sudden,
So,
James
anyway,
Hetfield
I'm
felt
jealous
like
of that,
singing.
Tommy. It's a hell of a story, bud. That's great. The ones that you're getting rid of, though, Biggie, who were you dumping off there?
Well, I was just going to say, if we go through, like Metallica, I can't get rid of. Nirvana, Pearl Jam, those have to say the Chili Peppers. So then it would be Soundgarden, and I like GNR as a band, but not necessarily those two albums right there. There's 6 or 7 GNR songs I really like overall, but that would be the order I would go in. You could put GNR and Soundgarden toward the bottom.
I mean, that might be the greatest small window on a calendar, though, for albums ever released.
Wait,
As
what
far
do
as
you think?
rock
You
music
love your 90s. Where would you rank them 1 through 5?
rank them. So as far as personal preference or just
Personal preference.
personal preference, I'm putting the Black Album and Nevermind right there neck and neck. I probably listened to the Black Album more, and what it did is it opened up to the Metallica version that Tommy liked. So I ended up not liking it as much, but because of its historical significance on how I became a music fan, it's up there. Nevermind is classic. It jump started so much.
Oh, yeah.
And after that, I would go Pearl Jam, I would go Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then I would go Soundgarden because I'm not ranking Guns N' Roses on there. I already told you I'd take Use Your Illusion and drop it. And I like all those bands, but Soundgarden, and I love Chris Cornell, and I love Audio Slave.
I love Chris Cornell.
But it's like some of the Soundgarden stuff is just kind of up and down for me. Like I have to be in a certain mood for it.
Yep.
Or the rest of them, I'm
listen
kinda
to
okay.
anytime they come on.
And I'm a big Red Hot Chili Peppers fan. Like I love that album.
I am too.
That was Under the Bridge and Give It Away and all that. I mean, that was good. You need something? You high five or?
I was going to say something. The Soundgarden, to me, it just, for some reason, it didn't ring a bell at that time. I had to actually look it up. I'm with you. I would drop the GNRs. That just, for some reason, that just wasn't their stuff.
At that time, it was huge because they were so big when they released them.
Well, I guess so. But I'm with you. The Soundgarden just didn't hit me. The Red Hot Chili Peppers, huge fan. And I think it's a West Coast thing, too. I think that everybody on the West Coast liked the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
They are a California band. I mean, that's kind of where they came from. And I don't know. They have one of the best behind the musics I've ever seen in my life, though. I do like that.
Flea got his name because he never showers.
I just know he played bass in his underwear. Huh. All of them played in their underwear.
All right, so let me give you a few here on the page, comments from the page, and then you all can chime in as you need to. So our good buddy Mike Suarez in Owl Eye Books says, if you played your cards right, you only paid 1 cent for all 7 cassettes, plus 3 more through the mail.
Wait, Columbia, I gotta step in here, Mike Suarez, you rat bastard. So, Columbia House, I don't think it was Columbia House at the time. It might have been like BMG or one of those other groups. And I learned about debt collectors from them because I just kept buying. I was like 17 and I just kept getting these things for nothing. And it was a plan. You had to pay them back over. I didn't read the fine print. It was just like, here's 12 CDs that came in the mail. And it was after that I realized Napster was a thing, and I started getting a lot better at how I did music. And what was it, LimeWire and
exactly.
all that stuff that gave you viruses and whatnot. But them damn Columbia House things, they tricked you, man. You had to be careful. There was some fine print there. Yeah. But I think everyone at some point in time took advantage of that stuff for sure. Now we Spotify everything because we're lazy.
Exactly. Bradley Schaefer says, and still Metallica and Soundgarden are the only ones I would buy.
Okay. So I'd like to know what else he would buy then outside of that. I'd be curious.
John Roberts, this is a good one. Kids will scoff because nothing seems to mean much to them these days, but waiting outside the record store at the mall for them to open on the release days back then was pretty special.
On a Tuesday.
It was always Tuesdays.
To be the first one at school with the album or tape or CD was awesome.
Dude, I remember you'd have that and they'd be like, oh, you have that? Oh, you already have that album? It just came out last week. I mean, we were probably getting it like a year later anyway because we're in West Virginia.
Mark Hobbs completely disagrees with us. He says, it's funny how so many people say throw GNR out of the list as anything they should be on the top of the list. They didn't only put out a top 10 selling album. They put out 2 with Illusions 1 and 2, both in the top 10 for sales that year, and they're still selling out concerts today.
That's fine, So Poison still tours too, but I'm not holding them in the same regard.
Every rose. And I don't know if you know this is correct or not, but Eric Antonelli says, I want to say Dirt by Alice in Chains came out the same year too.
I think it would have been the same year, but I don't think it was as close.
The same
I think
windows.
the reason these are grouped is because they were within a couple months of each other for release dates.
Hey Siri, when did the album Dirt by Alice in Chains come out? It was 1992.
Oh, so you're off.
Yep.
Well, that's wrong, brother.
That's all right. It sounded good. Sounded right.
Yeah.
Andrew Glass says, I wish Smashing Pumpkins' Gish was in the stack.
Smashing Pumpkins, again, not everybody they're kind of like Red Hot Chili Peppers. You either really like them or you don't like them at all. And he's ruined his voice, and I'm sure they're terrible live. But like early Smashing Pumpkins before Billy Corgan lost all his hair, fantastic.
Jake Fessler says, sorry, but Metallica and Guns N' Roses are butt rock. The others killed that music scene.
So he likes the alternative and not the metal, butt rock. Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah.
Hey, Jake, that's my new term. Butt rock.
Butt rock.
Mary Spano says, and the end of the hair band bullshit.
Yes, it was. But I still fondly will listen to hair metal from time to time. Except for Rat. I hate the band Rat. I just want that to be known.
All right, and then one more. I got Corey Bell says, "Don't forget Ozzy, No More Tears" was released in September 17th, 1991.
Really? That seems like such an 80s album.
Yeah.
No more tears.
We'll fact check that, but that's what it says. Corey Bell tells us that. So right now it's the gospel. We'll check it here after the segment's over.
All right. Well, with that being said, we're going off the rails on a crazy train or something. I don't know. I don't have Aussie youth in it. I don't know how
That was pretty good.
Yeah, we'll do that. So, man, what's your favorite album that came out this year?
Oh, shut up.
Not a damn single one of them. Well, if we're going to send everyone away and to enjoy the rest of their week and weekend, let's talk about how we just kind of went out and asked the We Don't Know Sports crowd, what can you tell us about your team or your city that you root for without telling us what team or city you root for? Is that what exactly did we ask?
Yeah, so without naming the sports city where you're from, tell us what it's famous for.
So we're going to play a little game here. So Biggie, me, and Turbo here, we're going to try our best to decipher the riddles here as Mr. Brown is our MC and goes through it here. So hit me with your best shot.
And to be clear, I don't have the answers. We're going to name them off, and if you don't get them, we're going to have to look them up after.
Oh, so you don't even have – there's no answer key.
No, they just did one-liners, and we're supposed to know.
All right, so you're playing along with us.
Exactly. So Joseph Barry, all he says is turtle soup.
Turtle soup.
That's got to be down south.
What? No. Damn it. What is
Maryland.
this from?
No one knows?
No
I
idea.
don't know what that is.
All right, we'll have to look it up, and then we'll comment on it once we figure out what it is.
All right, keep going. I'm gonna see if I can find it while y'all keep going.
David J. Duran says the perfect season in the Mud Bowl.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Come on, Biggie. I'm so disappointed in you right now.
I'm having a complete brain fart.
It's got to be Miami, right?
That's why it's called We Don't Know Sports. But the perfect season, I'm thinking it's the Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do they mean by the mud bowl?
Yeah, the Mud Bowl's what's throwing me out.
Where's the Mud Bowl at?
It should be Miami.
We'll say it's Miami.
Well, the Mud Bowl could be, yeah.
It's got to be Miami. All right, this one's easy. Red White 88, the fumble, the drive, LeBron's leaving twice. Baseball names hurt people's feelings according to the liberals.
Cleveland went in deep, didn't they?
The Cleveland Steamers make an appearance. That is Jake Klingshirn. I think that's how you say it. Klingshirn.
We'll go with that.
All right.
Survey says. Well,
Worst franchise of any sport, one playoff win since the 60s.
one playoff win since the 60s?
Yeah, and any worst playoff or worst franchise of any sport.
It's only got one playoff win, period. Oh,
since
damn.
the 60s.
Who would that be?
Detroit Lions.
That's,
But
by the way,
the
that's
Tigers, though.
Adam Moran. Sorry. Moran.
Are they only talking about the Lions? They can't be, right? Because if it's the city, then like the Tigers have at least.
They've won one.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, Biggie.
I don't know. That sounds
Best
just
pro
terrible.
football team and best pro basketball team of all time.
Of all time?
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be Boston.
It's Boston.
Yeah.
That was Gary Mushinski.
Yeah, don't cuss me.
Mushins.
Mucinex.
SKI. Then you have some dude, his name's Gargowich John, just says rubber.
Rubber?
Rubber.
Is that Akron? Is that they played in the Rubber Bowl?
Maybe. So Steve Lance says BJ's. Is this like wherever Deshaun Watson goes?
I was
That
thinking
wasn't
he's a
BJ's.
Houston guy.
That was something else.
Oh, my bad. That's what I thought of.
That'd be HE.
Okay. Wide right, Ken Stratton.
Buffalo.
Correct. I'm assuming.
That's Buffalo.
Well, what about Jeff Holtz, pierogi?
That's Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Okay.
Love pierogi. We had pierogies the other day, Mr. Brown.
Yeah, we did. This is Joey Alejandro. No World Series title since the 90s and no Super Bowl titles ever.
That sounds like Cincinnati.
That's correct.
That's the one I feel that one so well.
The greatest Hockey player of all time that isn't Wayne Gretzky, Gordie Howe, or Mario Lemieux.
Bobby Orr?
Is Bobby Orr. Where's Bobby Orr from?
Boston.
All right, there you go. Hitting Santa with a snowball.
That's
Philly.
Philadelphia.
And that's Alex McGady.
That's definitely everything bad happens to Philly to Santa Claus. They throw batteries at him. They boo Michael Irvin when he gets concussed.
Get off on a stretcher.
Broken neck, whatever it was.
Donald Smothers, first African-American quarterback to win the Super Bowl.
That's,
Washington.
yeah.
The Redskins.
That was when they actually played in Washington.
Bob Morecombe. He just says crabs.
That would be anything. Well, it could be
Baltimore?
Maryland's crabs.
It could be Florida State, Jameis Winston.
It could be. Yeah, it's Tallahassee.
Oh, wow.
We got it. Good job, Biggie. Tallahassee.
All right, so let's say George Lopez Jr., a once great franchise, now desecrated by a bad owner and sexual assault allegations, and has a racist logo.
Well, I'm thinking he's Dan Snyder in the Washington.
It's got to be the Commander.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who?
All right.
The emails.
Rick Polson, shortest player in NBA history.
Charlotte Hornets, Muggsy
Yeah.
Bogues.
So it could have been the Washington Bullets.
Ooh, true.
Yeah.
That's when they had him and Manute Bol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve Craig, the drive and the fumble for starters.
We know Cleveland has a lot of these. Like, we get it. We're sorry. You got Baker. Don't worry. He'll lead you to promised land on the 6-game suspension with Deshaun Watson this year. Give us like one or two more.
Kent Russell. This is funny. Puffy tacos.
That sounds like something on Urban Dictionary.
That sounds like Pornhub. Yeah, you're right. I guarantee if you look up on Puffy Tacos on Urban Dictionary.
I'm not doing that on a work phone.
Look it up.
No, Tommy, don't do it.
Puffy Tacos. Joey Mendez says there are jails under the stadium.
Again, we're back to Philadelphia.
All right, we got to do one more. This is terrible. Anthony Cotton says corruption, and then some other guy says any Democrat city. So we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, we were doing good not making it political. People are going to be mad enough over us talking about the way things used to be with gas and rent.
Cocaine could be anywhere. Let's say
definitely Miami.
Troy. This is I guess it's NOP, KNOPP, Blue AstroTurf.
Boise, and potatoes.
There you go. I mean, I can keep going unless you think we're good.
If you keep finding funny ones, while we're doing that, Biggie, what would you say to frame one of your sports towns?
We burn couches.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or you could say pepperoni rolls.
Yep.
All right. What about for Seattle, for the Mariners? What would you say?
Break out the rye bread. Grab the mustard. Get the salami. It's all grass. Maybe us Mariners. He used to do a play-by-play.
I figured you'd go grasshoppers.
I was going to say, yeah.
Oh, I got a few good ones now.
All right, Tommy, what about
was gonna say
Pittsburgh?
Space
What would you
Needle.
say for Pittsburgh?
Iron City Beer.
Okay, fair enough. We already had the pierogies on there. I would just say a team that can't afford to put a logo on both sides of their helmet, but that works too.
Fish market.
All right, so Carolyn Parsons, Duck Boat Parades.
Duck boat parades. That would be Boston.
Is it Boston?
Yeah.
There's other cities, but they're mostly known
started
for it.
All right, Lovejoy Jeffrey, airplanes and marijuana.
Airplanes and marijuana.
Yeah,
Do you got an answer?
I don't.
We need to ask for that answer. Airplanes and marijuana.
That's why I wrote it down.
This is like a code.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. Is there a team that is like an airplane? And
Yeah,
Maybe the Jets.
yeah.
he might be.
I'm
Can you
thinking
call-
it's Seattle or Denver.
Can you call Josh Gordon? Can we ask him?
Yeah, we should have. He was in Seattle, so I'm going to go Seattle.
Seattle. It's clearly Seattle.
Fred Keller says, making more grown men cry than any place in the universe.
That's everybody's sports team town.
Yes. Although Vikings fans probably feel that one especially hard.
It's Minnesota, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Chris Patrick, drafting Bowie instead of Jordan.
Portland. All right. So Portland made the list.
You made the list.
Kimberly A. Pfeiffer. That's Pfeiffer. Sweet Caroline. But that's so many reasons.
It's mostly
so many
Boston.
meanings.
It's
Mostly
mostly Boston.
Boston.
And it could be Eat Shit Pit.
Yep. You know, I'm surprised is that you didn't have more references to New York City with all the sports teams that
No,
they
there's
have
not.
there.
It's crazy.
And New York is one of our biggest following
Yeah.
Yeah,
cities.
New York City is their second biggest following behind Chicago, and there's not a lot there.
Neither one of those. And the one other one that's real obvious would be if someone said, America's team or everything's bigger down here or something. We didn't get any Texas
Them
reference.
boys,
Yeah.
Cowboys fans, they don't like coming out unless they got a reason to come out.
True.
It's kind of like Nickelback.
Yeah.
And apparently Red Hot Chili Peppers.
All right,
They're all the Bush meme.
Ken Marshallane, no World Series titles ever, and coffee.
And coffee?
And coffee. Come on.
Say it.
Say it.
Seattle.
We all pointed.
You were looking hard for that one.
That was better than
Say it.
crickets and grasshoppers.
That's great.
Starbucks.
I think that's a good one to end on, Biggie. You can lead us off of that one. But all right, well, we're going to enjoy the rest of our evening. Maybe play a little darts, play a little basketball, and give Biggie some more hard times about
Changing
Seattle.
that this year. Say it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to Invade Your Eardrums once again. Enjoy the rest of your week. We're going to have a hell of a time fishing this weekend, going to Detroit and all things sports related there, and maybe having a little fun on a hockey bar. I don't know. We're going to have a great time. Hopefully you guys do the same. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.